Bullfrog Creatives. I am your guide on the side here in the College Rodeo virtual recruitment platform. I'm super excited to be coming at you tonight with our guest for the weekly spotlight. Jimmie Nicolaus is the rodeo coach at Mitchell Tech University, Mitchell Tech College.
Mitchell Technical College.
Also, you guys, if you have been following Bullfrog Creatives for any amount of time, I would say that Jimmie was probably, totally the reason that I started having these one-on-one conversations. So when everything kind of shut down from COVID and, everything kind of shut down, Jimmie posted on Facebook, I need to do an infomercial for my rodeo program. And it kind of sparked an idea for me and for Jimmie, and we kind of went back and forth on it. And that started the College Rodeo 101 interviews that you guys will find in the free section. All those archived videos. Jimmie was the first, I say victim, but I think when I look back at those videos, we were all victims of live video. Yeah. It was tough. I'd like to say that we're much better on camera now, but I don't know that that's always true. Well, nor is it always true that we know our technology now. So maybe we're aging gracefully. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that we're always better with technology. Jimmie, so let's start kind of broad. You mentioned before we went live that you wanted to talk about some things kind of at the national level, maybe some deadlines. Why don't you just kind of take off? What do we have? I guess now might not be the time to be really concerned about deadlines. However, why don't
after is never a good time either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't want to find out later.
Yeah, it's a planning process, just like anything else. You kind of got to know what your timelines are. When it comes to the membership application, our fiscal year will end the end of June. So 1st of July, we are in the 24-25 season. So the membership applications, we usually get them as coaches. I get the email probably about mid-July with the membership packet. Those are available online. You can go to collegerodeo.com, go to the resources, go to the downloads. Make sure it is the 24-25 version. But you can download that membership application. I would strongly recommend you print it on at least legal size paper so you can read it. Ledger size paper is even better for me. But print it with some size so you can read it. It's a pretty generic membership application. That's one of 3 or 4 documents that you will be sending to our national office. You're going through, it's pretty generic. Name, address, it asks you for a mailing address. That is your address when you're on campus. It asks you for a permanent address. That's your address at home where your folks live. You may not know your mailing address on campus or wherever you're going. So you can leave that blank. That is where they will send correspondence until you get that updated. But once you get to college, get to campus, you can email them with your in-town address and everything will come to you there. Right below that, there's a few boxes. Did you college rodeo before? Have you taken college classes while in high school? Not a good, not a bad. It's actually a good thing. It's a great thing. The cost effectiveness of dual credits is unbelievable. But when you check that yes box, you need to look over to the right, because in the eyes of college rodeo, once you have started taking college classes, you are in college. Doesn't matter if you're taking them dual enrollment back at your high school. And therefore, you have to include an official transcript for those, and you have to meet the 2.0 GPA.
So my first question is, they have to meet the 2.0 GPA in the classes that they're currently enrolled in college.
Yes, those dual enrollment classes, not everything they had when they were in high school, just those classes that they are taking probably via distance through higher education.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm sure every region's just like ours. Our second rodeo is probably 14% bigger than our first rodeo. And not having that transcript and getting stuck on hold is the lion's share of those students that aren't able to go. Now you think, okay, we got 10 rodeos in the region. I divide 275 by 10. Well, now I only divide it by 9. Not quite the value. It doesn't hit you until the last rodeo next spring and you're 20 points out of the going to CNFR.
Yes.
Then it stings. It leaves a mark.
Yeah, I mean, and
So
that's a really good point. So if you guys are, if you're seniors right now, and maybe you have made the decision of where you want to attend college, maybe you haven't, but don't make that commitment and sign that letter of intent come March 7th and then think you're done. Like,
yeah,
you are not done. Also, I would say there's probably some ownership on the coach's part to make sure that at least the students that they know have committed, like, they're also going to be communicating with you. But if
yeah.
you don't commit to a college until we see it, it happens. If you don't commit to a
And
college
lenders,
until August,
June, July. Yeah,
July, August, September, I mean,
it
then
happens.
you're behind the 8 ball on that. So this is one deadline that you don't want to miss.
Yeah. We start college here the third Monday in August, and we start rodeoing the weekend after Labor Day. The host that we go to the weekend after Labor Day started on Tuesday.
Tuesday of
So
that week.
yeah, of that week, and their rodeo is tomorrow night. So, it's a lot of simple stuff. It's not complicated, but there is a timeline that needs to be followed. The next piece of paper that is going to go in that envelope is the certificate of clearance. And what that is the FERPA regulations so that college rodeo can look at your grades.
Okay.
That has to go in that envelope with your membership application. That transcript has to go in that envelope with your membership. College rodeo does not accept electronic transcripts at this time. I don't know if they're going to, I'm not even going to go there. But so you need to request a paper copy.
An
And I would do it
official
right
stamp.
away right away at the beginning of June, when your classes are done at the institution that you're taking them through, and get a copy of that. So that's 3 documents: your membership application. I want to back up to that. About 2/3 of the way down, you will sign the release. At the bottom of that page is where your parents have to sign. You may be an adult at 18 years old in your state, but our national office is in Washington state, and they are a 21 state. So there needs to be 2 signatures at the bottom of that membership application. Over here on the left-hand side of that membership is the high school affidavit. You can take that to your high school superintendent or registrar locally and get that signed. What that is a verification of your date of graduation. College rodeo eligibility says you've got 6 years to use 4 years of eligibility. So that verifies your date of graduation. That has to be done.
Okay. Question. Homeschool.
Little trickier, but again, there's going to be some documentation on somewheres of when that completion date was. I've never had to deal with a homeschool student, so I'm not 100% sure. That might be also a call to the national office.
Okay.
Just to verify that. But I would venture to say somewheres along the line, somebody had to be overseeing that program. Might be a little more at a regional level than a local level. But again, if that membership application is available mid-July, get after it. Don't sit on it.
Don't wait.
Yeah. It's much better to get that application there the end of July, first part of August, when there's a dozen of them coming in a week, than wait until school starts. And now there was 50 of them just in this morning's mail drop. And again, that's where a percentage of those that don't get to go to that first rodeo, there's another batch of them. They didn't get through the pipeline fast enough. So
Perfect.
you just uh, handling things in a timely fashion is important with this, especially this first one. Second year students, yeah, mom doesn't have to fill it out for you. You. I'm kidding.
Kind
No,
of.
no. But you'll kind of know the flow of things.
Right.
This first year, it's way different,
So
just because of
let's
the
talk about that. I
availability.
mean, it's been a little while since I was in high school. I do remember, I mean, we had to get transcripts put together, especially for the state finals,
Yeah.
get our entries put together, especially for the national high school finals.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of the same process. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be super new. I would say the one thing that can definitely get you hung up is that if you're taking college classes as a senior, make sure you get that college transcript. And it does have to be an official transcript. I just talked to another
Yes.
coach about this. It has to be a official paper stamped official
Yes. Yes.
statement. So make sure you're getting those. Um, I would say that's kind of a deadline that may be a little bit farther out. Can you talk to me about, because we are pretty close now? Well, February 7th, we're a month out from the National Letter of Intent. So you can't sign a letter of intent with a college rodeo program until March. So can you kind of talk to us about that a little bit?
Well, it keeps everybody on a level playing field. We're following other post-secondary or intercollegiate athletics that kind of, it's like the restrictor plate in NASCAR racing. Keeps everybody a little bit even. I know there's conversations going on. We're all speaking to prospective athletes,
Yeah,
daily.
there's been verbal commitments. You've talked
Yeah.
to coaches.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and it's one of those deals though. That's the D-Day. And again, there's just me now as a parent. Granted, I've been coaching for a long time, but when my son went to college up here and college rodeoed, there was a lot of other questions. I was able to sit on the other side and ask him going back, upstream, so to speak. Go visit the campus. If you are interested in one, if you are interested in seven, then save some fuel money. But you need to go look at the campus. Again, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's not a bushel basket full, but way more students have gotten there on Sunday night. They're home by Friday, didn't even unload the car, didn't unload the pickup. And some of them were 2 miles from home, and some of them were 15 hours from home.
yeah.
So make sure the grass that you're looking at is the shade of green that you want. Go look at the campus and make sure the campus is a fit. The real tough part is 2 or 3 of those students, and this has been several years ago, that came home. I knew the coach there and get a call from them. Hey, do you know this student? Well, yeah, they said he was on campus. He went home, and I just wondered what was going on. And if you'd heard it, I'm going, but it happens.
Yeah.
You need to know, because you're going to spend at least hopefully 2 years at that location.
Jimmie,
So,
I mean, that's probably one of the main reasons that this platform
yeah,
exists, is to try to eliminate some of those experiences, maybe decrease some of the numbers of transfers that are happening
yeah.
because of a personality conflict, or
Hmm.
the programs weren't right, or whatever it is. It wasn't the structure that I wanted. Like, it's just, I think that so many high school kids and parents don't even, they don't, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
once you get in it, you either bite the bullet and you stay,
Yeah.
or you transfer out, lose rodeos, lose a year, or whatever that looks like. But those are kind of some of the things that we're trying to prevent here. And one of the main reasons that we have colleges come on to do the weekly spotlight in the College Rodeo
Hmm.
101, so that we can get the basics. We're going to ask some questions. I'm going to ask you some questions that maybe they didn't think of,
Yeah.
Hopefully people are going to comment and maybe ask questions that I didn't even think of. So that's just your start. But I would second, go visit. And, I think the recruiting process is changing a little bit. I think when you don't know what you don't know, you might be sitting back as a mediocre high school rodeo athlete thinking that coaches are going to come to you. And that's not always the case.
There's a few that have that ability, but most of us don't.
Yeah.
I mean, and
As coaches.
I'm sitting here in Mitchell, South Dakota. I know the students that high school rodeoed, and we've got a very active 4-H program here in South Dakota with 25, 28, 30 rodeos this summer. They had over 700 contestants at their finals last fall.
Wow.
And yeah, we've outgrown the facility, and it's the only one in the state that I think can handle us. So, but I don't know others. So, I mean, names pop up. I'm getting emails. This is happening. That's happening. And, you get back to them as many as you can. But like I said, going back, if you didn't visit the campus to find out for sure that it's a fit, that the program's a fit, that I'm a fit, I don't, there's nothing harder on us than us having you there and you don't want to be there.
Yeah,
the
for
other
sure.
thing is, if you've got the opportunity to do it, attend a college rodeo in that region.
Great idea.
That's just it's another rodeo. I got up this morning and put my wranglers on and put my boots on, rock on. But there are a few things that are different. I would encourage you to go to collegerodeo.com to resources and look at the rule book. You don't have to print a copy of it. If you really want one, you can email the national office. I think they're $10. There's some different things in college rodeo than there were probably where you came from, regardless of where that might be. We're talking high school rodeo. There's some things in high school rodeo that you can't do in college rodeo. One of them that pops to mind, and I say this rather guardedly because I don't know if high school rodeo changed it, but several years ago, everybody went to nylon latigos in the horse riding. And then the PRCA said no, and then this amateur association said no, and then that association said no. And I think high school still permits nylon latigos in the bareback riding and the bronc riding, but college rodeo does not.
Okay.
So it's just little things like that, and I'm going to give you a get out of jail free card at the University of Wisconsin at River Falls the weekend after Labor Day. You need to have those changed before you get to North Platte to Mid Plains Community College next weekend. Next weekend, I'm going to find you.
Yeah.
This weekend, you're new here, and I understand that. So, but, not being ready when called upon, the drag rules.
Listen, there's one in the barrel racing.
Yes.
You lose your hat in the barrel racing, cost you $10. It might be more now. I don't know.
Well, I happened to sit into the board meeting a couple of years ago when that was the topic, and little girl student director's just sitting over there grinning. And I mean, these coaches are, this is ridiculous, and you don't get fined in the steer wrestling if you lose your hat. She's just sitting over there grinning. And I thought in the back of my mind, when she says it, it's going to be good. And finally, she said, "Can anybody tell me what the hat fine is in the WPRA?" Crickets. She said, "Their hat fine's $50. She said, "Our hat fine is $10.
Yeah.
She said, "That if anything, we raise it." End of conversation. It was
Done.
funny.
And listen, if college rodeo is doing what it's not its mission, but like if we're doing in theory what an association of this type would do, we're preparing them for the next level.
Exactly. So we are stepping stone. We're the A-League.
We are a stepping stone, then this, get yourself ready, because you're going to have even less time in the box at a PRCA rodeo.
Yeah. And
So
you know, that's another one. I mean, bulldog and horses being a pickle, judge is going to walk up and tell you get on another one.
yeah,
That's just the way it is.
we
You
see it.
know,
We see it at pro rodeos.
yeah. Oh yeah. And
I
you
mean,
know, it's
Vegas in particular, but
yeah.
get yourself
Well,
ready.
you know, and that's the one that's everybody's eye. I joke that they've now gone to a 22-man judging system, but that's what that dude is standing back up there on the alley. That's all he's doing. They
Yeah.
they pinned the barrier, click. He nodded his head, click. What's the time in between? And he puts a check mark or he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Will
you
Loomis
stand there
was
and
talking
watch it
about it.
happen.
Will Loomis was talking about it. Well, I think it's 45 seconds you
Yeah.
have. And he said that he was at 45.5 and they
Bing.
made him get on another horse. And
You know,
he
and
knew it was
that's
coming. I mean, he wasn't
you
mad
know, and
about it. He knew it was
that's
coming.
um and now that particular instance, don't hyperventilate. There's 15, or well, maybe not 15, but there's 7 other bulldog and horses standing there.
Yeah.
There is somebody that will more than gladly trot Sarley or gray or whatever color it might be. You're
Back
safe.
around.
You know, don't worry about that. That is, to me, one of the neatest parts about college rodeo. And I got to brag on the Great Plains region now, is that it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen students, again, at that first college rodeo, ride the bulldog box. They didn't even have a hazer.
Yeah.
Because they've never had to ask someone to haze for them.
Right.
I was joking at a high school event several years ago, and I said, I think you ought to pass a rule that once they're a junior, I can't haze for my kid and you can't haze for your kid, but your kid can come ask me if I'll haze for him. Oh, I mean, and it was funny. The bulldog and dads were just,
yeah.
Why would you do that? I said, because when they get to River Falls, Wisconsin, they don't know how to ask anybody to haze for. They don't know how to ask for a push.
I was going to say,
They've never
push.
asked anybody what the get out is because you've always told them.
Yep. Yep. Man, that's a good point.
You know, so I mean, you want to go to a college rodeo just to kind of see how everything goes. I mean, we're pretty quick and snappy in this region. 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes. You know, granted, that first one we've got some rust on, and that second purse Saturday afternoon, we're kind of getting it. Saturday night, we kind of got it figured out. But there's 2,500 people in the stands at that rodeo. A lot of them don't know what they're watching, but they sure do enjoy it. And my philosophy there is that anytime we can make a spectator into a fan, that's good for all of us. Any level, every level.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I mean, why would we not want to run a rodeo off in a timely fashion? It just seems to me to be the way to do it.
For sure. Well, so we're about 20 minutes in and we haven't even talked about your college rodeo program. So Jimmie, why don't you give me some information where, I'm going to answer my own question here, but where is Mitchell Tech?
Mitchell Tech is in Mitchell, South Dakota, home of the world's only corn palace. Yay. We're about 80 miles from Nebraska and about 80 miles from Minnesota. So southwest corner of the state, we're right along Interstate 90, which goes east and west through South Dakota. City of about 16,000. Mitchell Tech has a pretty new campus. The newest building we moved into in January. The oldest building, I believe, is probably 15, 18 years old. So everything's pretty good. This new building we just built is a brand new diesel lab. If they didn't put concrete in it, there's enough room to rope steers and buck horses and still stall about 25 head of horses. But then I seen the concrete truck show up. Nice try. Nice thought. Big overhead doors. It would have been great. But our population, the 10-day count for January was 1,237, I believe, 34, 37. So not very big. You've got about a 17, 18 to 1 ratio faculty to students. We've got 6 different divisions. As I cheat now and show my technology because my wife's computer is set right over there. We've got ag and transportation. We've got business and service industries, health sciences, energy production and transmission, construction and manufacturing technologies, engineering technologies, and we do have a few limited online opportunities. Some of our programs fill faster than others.
Yeah.
I know that our Power Line program takes 100 students, and for the fall 24 start, they are full.
Wow.
I think they were full in November. That's
Jimmie,
a 1 year program.
now
But
before I forget, you need to take a screenshot of those academic programs and send them to me, because
okay,
that's something we want to get updated on our end for those profiles. Because
okay,
if we have any students that are interested in that, we want them to be able to find you.
yeah, that's I can do that real easy. It's got the divisions, and then it's got all the programs in it.
Awesome.
Our ag division, I'll put up against anybody's.
Yeah.
And the unique thing there is the first semester, well, the first year is fairly generic. There once you get done with the first semester, you start going either in ag business, agronomy, or animal science. The second year is exclusively that. But we have students that, because that first year was generic enough, they're able to come back a third year, get that second 2-year degree. We do have the real anomaly once in a while that will, depending upon where they're going back to, will stay and get all 3 of those degrees in 4 years and still have less invested and more hands-on learning,
More hands-on,
than up the road. I was in the construction and manufacturing. I was an instructor in the electrical program for 15 years. 3 of our instructors were my students. So I can kind of vouch for them a little bit. But again, that takes 48. And a lot of times by the end of April, there's no holes left. And unlike 4-year universities or your more liberal arts junior colleges, they'll just create another section.
yeah.
We don't do that because of the limited lab space and the amount of time it takes to really get 2 groups of 24 students through all the lab projects and hands-on opportunities that you want to give them. Our architectural design and building construction program builds 2 houses every year. Guess who wires them? Guess who does the heating and cooling in them? The only piece of the puzzle we're missing is the plumbing. We contract that out, but this is real world.
Yeah.
So that does warrant some investigation, because we start the second week of school here in August and you're doing lab projects. That really should be what you want to do.
Yeah, you're hitting the ground running when you come to.
Yes, we're at a dang good dog trot that first day of school. That's kind of in a nutshell here. The schools like us are probably not much different in that, there's a window and you can only fit so many pegs in that window. And once the window's full, then it's done. There are some opportunities to kind of flip-flop things around and do some things. I mentioned Power Line is a 1-year program, but we have 3 second-year options off of that. A substation and distribution second-year program, which came about, honestly, because of the wind turbine deal, that happened a few years ago. We've got a geospatial, which is dealing with the drones and flying and goes around to check lines. We had a student this past fall that wanted to get into Power Line, was figuring on staying a second year anyway, so we just flipped the order and got him in geospatial. This year he's doing great. Now I'm kind of wondering if he's going to come back for Power Line next year, or if he's going to go further into that geospatial and precision avenue, because he found out how cool that was.
Yeah, that's great. Those are some really good options. So I'm going to transition a little bit from the academic side. Well, talk to us a little bit about kind of the rodeo program itself. Do you guys have Well, okay. Before we do that, let me wrap up the college, more of the education side of it. On-campus housing.
We have on-campus housing available. It is
Okay.
not ours. It is privately built and managed, and it's about a 12-minute walk from one end of campus to the other. Like most on-campus housing, it's a little spendier, but I've been in the apartments. I haven't never been in a quad, but I've been in a double. You've got a common area, living room, kitchen area,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got the two bedrooms. The bedrooms are lockable, so you've got privacy and all that stuff. They've got everything but a dishwasher in them. They're pretty spacious.
Okay.
The one apartment that I do recall being in, they had a couch, a love seat, an entertainment system set up for gaming, a coffee table, and a spur board,
Okay. That's
and a kitchen
really big.
table. So I mean, and it wasn't crowded.
Yeah.
It was nicer than any of the dorms I remember back in the late 70s. I will say that much. But we have on campus, we have a culinary arts program,
Perfect.
and they do the cooking. It's pretty good. I was disappointed last fall. We only had prime rib twice.
Uh, I mean,
I
I count
understand the
myself
cost of
lucky to
meat.
have it once.
Yeah, but
Spoiled.
it's pretty good food. So,
Awesome.
and like I said, it's about a 10-minute walk, 12-minute walk from one side of campus to the other. The
So do
advantage, you don't have to get your sidewalk cleaned. You don't have to move your car when it snows. You don't have to worry about not getting your garbage out.
Yeah,
All that
things you
is
don't think
taken care
about.
of. So you pay for convience. We know that.
Absolutely.
To me, this is pretty convenient. But we do have
Are
a lot
there
of
off
off
camp?
campus available.
Do you guys do freshman student athletes have to live on campus? Okay.
No.
So then my next question is, are there a fairly decent amount of options for off campus?
Yes.
Okay.
And we've got on our website, they will start updating as we get closer to the end of this spring semester. Things will start updating there, what's going to be coming available. The nice thing about the apartments, you can sign a 10-month contract. You don't have to pay for the 2 months, but you're already on the list for next fall. If you're going off campus, you're probably going to have to keep that rental if that's the one you want.
For 1 year.
They'll start updating that rental list, that housing list on campus as soon as things start opening up. Probably by the end of May is when we'll start seeing that turn around. I usually know of our guys that are coming in who might be looking for a roommate, some of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we can probably get you taken care of rather easily. It's just kind of what are your standards?
Gotcha.
It's one of them deals too. And our admissions department, I can't tell you don't rent from him, but when you say that name, I might not answer. We've got a couple of those. Everybody's got a couple of those.
Every
And
community does.
yeah,
Every
I mean, I
community
don't
does.
care where it's at. My sons, two of them actually went to another college here in the state, and the one, they told
Yeah.
him you're not going to like that one, and
He didn't.
he didn't, but he gutted it out. I'll give him that much.
So
and like I said, I will find out. I will know who all's coming. So probably in July or August, I will reach out probably in July and say, okay, I'm going to send out a blanket email. Here's the people that I know are going to attend Mitchell Tech this fall that plan to Rodeo. Here's phone numbers. You guys start communicating
you figure it out.
now so that you can be pushing the ball instead of getting rolled over by it.
Yeah.
Come the first part of August.
That's awesome. Next, let's talk a little bit about the program, the rodeo program itself. Do you guys have your own facility? What do you guys do for practice?
Okay.
Practice.
We do not at this time own our own facility, but there is a new facility going in just north of town. full rodeo arena, and we'll see how things play out. We don't have any boarding, therefore, but I point everybody in the direction of one private facility that is about 3.5, 4 miles from campus. So it's pretty convenient. That actually was our point of departure a few years ago because everybody was out there, and it was
Yeah.
just easier to load up out there. The roughies had come out, parked the cars, throw the gear bags in the van with me,
Yep.
and we're off to see the wizard. But that's the direction we're going right now. As far as practice opportunities, and I should have put my Mitchell Tech cap on because it's and twisted it to the side. Here's my take. When you show up in the fall, I hope you've been rodeoing all summer. So all we're going to do this fall is go to 5 locations that you've probably never been to.
Yeah.
The calves still have 4 legs. The bucking horses have a hot iron brand and 2 ears. Everything is the same. And I personally, and this is the bull rider, maybe it's just me, I don't know. When I got to college, things were clicking. And I know how high school rodeo practice pens work. It's Tuesday night, it's 7 o'clock, the horn wraps are on, the horses are tied to the trailer with saddles on, and we're getting ready to rope. And we're going to rope that 1 pen of cattle, no matter how many there are in that pen, we're going to rope that 1 pen of cattle 4 times to the end. Every one of them, 4 times. And the football players and anybody in any other athletics, but I use football as an example. Football practice on Monday afternoon was always a lot more fun when we won Friday night than it was if we lost Friday night. If we won Friday night, things were obvious, and especially if we'd won 2 or 3 out of the 4 or 5 Friday nights. Things on that first Monday back were a little more casual. It might not even be a full pad practice. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But the coach realized there wasn't maybe that much to fix then, and that's why that practice was a little more relaxed. Now, if we lost to that same degree, then Monday practices were a bugger. I mean, it was work and it was hard. And once you get to college, you're the one that kind of has to make that decision.
Yep.
I was at our practice where we were practicing a couple years ago, and our timed event coach's wife was out there. And 2 of our breakaway ropers, snapped 2 of them in a row from, right out there in that 3 spin column. And the one gets ready to ride back in the box, and she said, no, you're done. Well, what do you mean there's more calves to rope? You just rope, you only get 1 at the rodeo. You just rope 2 of them from here to there. What are you going to practice?
Yeah.
That you aren't already capable, you and your horse, of doing. And I see it so many times you practice until the point that now you screwed something up.
Yes.
Now something did happen just because there was 3 more calves back there and you felt you just had to run them. And now we got something to fix.
Yep. And anymore, there's so many tools available. I was just talking about this. There's so many tools available. Yeah. Making multiple runs on your horse is probably not the best use of your time.
And I mean, if it's fundamental stuff, I've been watching a lot of Kobe Bryant stuff here of late. And I mean, you have to fall in love with the basics. Mm-hmm. You have to do that. So, maybe it's a case of, everything's going. I went out there and roped 2, and man, he worked the rope and everything's good. And, got a good flank and everything. He's not having any issues. Go time to the trailer and tie calves from the post.
Yeah.
Look at the opportunities you got. And trust me, Blaine Carey's our time event coach. Blaine will tell you. Blaine's wife, Pauline, will tell you. I'm not a timed eventer. I have 1 steer wrestling buckle to my name. And that was a complete accident.
I
What?
I was
I sprint
wondering.
down faster than anybody else. That's all it takes. It is a timed event. They didn't say it had to be fast. You just had to be the fastest one. But there are so many things like that. We've got Blaine up at Blaine's house. He's got a steer saver. We got a horse saver. We got
Mhm.
all of those hot heels and all of that stuff, so that you've got the opportunity to look and maybe you don't need any of it. Again, when you get here in the fall, hopefully you've been rodeoing right up until the time you came to college. And 2 weeks after college starts, we're going to college rodeo.
Yeah.
Big arena, deep sand. It can get a little heavy with the humidity up there in Wisconsin. It's just right across the river from the Twin Cities. Cattle are user friendly, but they might be a little big because it's the end of the year up
End
here.
of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna expect a guy to run out and get a new set of calves if he's got a college rodeo. But I also, I know that, I can't remember the word that he used to describe the steer wrestlers. They were not user friendly. They were, and that's, dare I say it, that's your job. You've been doing it all summer. You've been doing it all the way through high school. Your job is to go compete on the stock that's drawn for you.
Yeah.
May not be the one you wanted,
So
but how many guys have we seen win checks and it wasn't the one they wanted, but it's the one they had?
So then when we get to the spring season, is there a little bit more structured practice coming into spring?
There is. And that's a different deal than the fall because we
Yep.
got to get the dust scraped off. I'll back up a little bit. We don't have a set of cattle. We don't have steers, but we've got 3 families that are pretty close here. And it's more feasible for me to pump some fuel for you to drive up there. It's about 50 miles up there, but it's a lot more feasible for me to pump some fuel and you get up to Huron. That's where our timed event coach lives. He's an off-campus instructor in our farm business management program.
Okay.
So he lives just north of Huron. It's about an hour away. But he's got all the stuff. He's got steers. We've got 2 other families that have got steers and calves and have graciously invited us in. So I can't afford, for $100, $150 a week, I can't rent cattle and feed cattle and doctor cattle. There's pastures full of bulls and bucking horses within 2 hours of here. Why would I lease a set of horses and rely on, I'm going to say this as nice as I can, practice pen pickup men and bullfighters
to keep you
when
safe?
I know I can go to their place on Saturday and we're going to have real pickup men and we're going to have a real bullfighter.
Yeah.
Again, I was lucky when I got to college that things were clicking. The other thing, just like I was talking about, no, you rope 2 calves really fast, you're done roping, tie the horse to the trailer and go push calves. If there was a problem I was having with my bull riding, rode left-handed, having trouble away from my hand. Well, if there wasn't a bull in the practice pen that turned back to the right, it didn't do me any good. That would be like trying to practice math problem by correcting punctuation. It's a stretch. But if there wasn't something that was going to turn back away from my hand, it didn't
give you an opportunity to practice that,
because that isn't what I was going to be able to fix.
Yeah.
The neatest part about this whole deal, and I'm big on this, I wish I'd have realized what I was probably doing back in the 70s and just started doing it a little more, but I joke with the students right now. We get home from the first perf in River Falls. Before I fall asleep, I've run every one of them bulls through and rode them. I'm 65 years old. What the heck am I doing? Who am I kidding? But I do it religiously. I might even, if there's a really sweetheart-looking bareback horse, I might even run him in. But that's just, I've done that for so long, for so many years, regardless of where I'm at, regardless of what I'm doing. And the really cool part of that, is I never get thrown off.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
Heck yeah.
but and that's where you struggle. I hear a lot of guys talking about the mental side of rodeo, whether it's college or whatever, and I say, you've got this file cabinet full of videos back there. Well, I don't have any videos. Okay, watch another guy, and then in your head, as you're watching that video, paste your face on his body. There's a video. Your mind does not know the difference between something that it vividly imagines and something that's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, smell the popcorn, hear the crowd, smell the smoke from the grill that they're making burgers over at the concession stand. And just paste your face on somebody else's body. And pretty soon, that little guy in the back of your head is going to be back there grabbing stuff so fast. And you'll just be riding along going, hey, wow, how did this say? The whistle blew. Wave to the crowd.
Yep.
You can do that so often and so easy. And, again, the wintertime, it's tough up here. I mean, today was beautiful. It was upper 50s. 10 days ago, it was about that far below zero. Miserable.
Yeah.
So the opportunities we've got are not as good as some of the others. Some of the stuff we're able to provide for you is better than some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that coming to campus, that looking at the campus, meeting me, having me explain all of the opportunities that we've got here, that we can do things for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess ultimately it's how do you make a good decision if you don't have good information?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's
watch me, you watch Jim Boy, you watch, I was watching the one yesterday from Vernon.
Yep.
Clayton. You watch all of it. I mean, go through it. I don't want to move to South Dakota. I don't want to go up there. We had a national champion a few years ago that came to us from Arkansas. And when I asked him why he came from Arkansas to South Dakota to ride bareback horses, he said, where else would I go to get on big bucking horses? But whether or not you're looking at my school or Ben Londo's or Cal Poly or UNLV or University of Tennessee at Martin or McNeese State, I don't care. Watch all of these videos because you're going to pick something up from every one of us that will either be a question or, okay, I'm not moving to South Dakota, but what he is offering is really good.
Yeah.
That gives me a question to ask another, well, what about this? And use this as a tool and exploit the heck out of it because there's so much information and everybody's waving their flags in the air. And, we're the only athletic opportunity on Mitchell Tech's campus. We have a couple other club sport deals, but we're it. And in 1993, 3 bull riders came to me and said, hey, we want a college rodeo. I figured, okay, I'll go to the first couple. I know where the national office is. I think I still have their phone number somewhere, and got them going and figured I'd go to a couple college rodeos with them just to kind of show them how. When I college rodeo back in the 70s, we didn't have coaches. It was, and in this particular region, we had usually at least 16 or 18 rodeos all year.
Oh, wow.
And you took your best 5. It was kind of good because theoretically everybody was still in the hunt until the last couple of them.
Yeah.
And even at them, there was still, and that's the time we'd have 40 bareback riders in this region, probably 50 or 55 bronc riders, and usually about 75 or 80 bull riders. Not the case now, at least in this region, but I get up there. Well, I see 3 other guys that I know.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys doing here? Well, we're rodeo coaches. Huh. I didn't know that was a thing. Here we are 30 years later.
Very cool.
So it's, but again, even if you talk to just us coaches in the Great Plains region, if you listen to all of these, I don't care where you're going. If you listen to somebody else, you're going to hear something else. And it's just, it's like I said, you can't make a good decision without good information.
Yeah.
You may not want to move to South Dakota. CJ's bragging on Facebook the other day. Just by the way, it's 72 degrees today in Alpine, Texas. I think that was when we were leaning on 60 below up here with the wind chill.
Yeah, that kind of made me want to unfriend him for a little while.
I just thought, dear wrestler. But and that's the reason. I mean, you gotta. I'm honestly, I'm in conversations with a young lady from Arkansas. She just wants to get the heck out of Arkansas. I don't know. I drove through Arkansas a few times. I didn't think it was all that bad, but she wants out of Dodge. And I mean, that's part of the early conversation is, do you own a coat? How thick is it?
Do you have a winter coat?
Yes, because, things are pretty good right now. But
it's not usually 50 degrees in February.
No, in South Dakota, I don't know what it's like there in Casper, but you guys are kind of
very similar.
Yeah. We've been terrible foggy here for the last 15 days. Farmer's Almanac says it's going to rain 90 days after a prolonged fog. So I'm thinking calving season up here is going to be a little hairy. About knee deep.
We haven't. So we've been very similar. We haven't had near the winter that they were predicting, but not even. I mean, even temperature wise, we've had a couple of bad weeks, couple of cold weeks, but nothing like it usually is.
Overall, it has not been bad. Now, last year, I had a snowdrift here in front of my house. Between what I was blowing off my driveway and what the city was blowing in there was probably leaning on 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
That was just my side of the street.
Yeah, we
had more snow last year, and you guys as well.
Yeah.
So again,
well, Jimmie,
you kind of got to know what the atmosphere is like where you're looking at going to.
Absolutely. We're coming up on the 1 hour mark, so thank you so much. Tons of really good information. Yeah, tons of great information. If you guys are watching live, which sadly no one is watching live, so when you're watching the replay, if you have any
probably
questions,
all right. She's going to go through and use one of them filters, so we'll it'll help me a lot.
Will look great. If you guys are watching the replay and you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Reach out to us. Jimmie is in the platform. He's got a profile set up, so if you have questions about his program or about the school, please reach out. I believe you guys can message each other in the community as well. If you have any questions, post it. If you have questions about putting your profile together, what should be in your profile, ask the question and we'll give you all the information. Again, thank you, Jimmie. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you kind of believing in the mission and believing in kind of the solution that we hope to provide for not only coaches, but also student athletes. You guys, next week, we have another one coming up. We're also going to start seeing some additional things in the outside the arena section. We've got Katie Hollingsworth joining us this month. We're going to have Doug Champion of Champion Living Fitness joining us next month. Lots of good things coming to fill out some of the areas in the community, but also hopefully giving you guys some ideas and things to think about as you start to make that transition, or at least start to think about the transition of heading into college. So if there's something you want to see, a coach that you want to hear from, or anything like that, just go ahead and shoot me a message and we will do our best to make that happen. Jimmie, have a good night. I would say stay warm, but I didn't even have to wear a jacket today. So
yeah. It's supposed to rain here tomorrow.
Well, that's good. At least you're getting moisture.
Yeah, but I could be on an aerial lift tomorrow.
Oh, well, I mean, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Figure that out.
All right, you guys, thanks for joining us here in the platform. I am your guide on the side, hoping to make some connections and help you guys make the transition as smooth as possible. We will catch you guys later.
Later, Gator.